Hello, my little goblins. We're back at it again, and this time we're playing a list that came straight from China. Yes, so this deck is actually a deck I got off of Master Duel Meta. Put on the screen real quick. The inspiration came from this player who I cannot pronounce, but apparently they were topping some Chinese tournaments with this list. And the list is pretty cool. It's pretty sweet. So it is a Karakuri deck, right? With this as their boss monster, and typically your end board when you combo off with this is going to be double Biribu, and then you're gonna have probably TG Hyper Librarian, and then you're gonna have Baron de Fleur, and you're most likely either gonna have Therion on the board, or you'll have a Machina Fortress with a Machina Rune Force. Which Rune Force is actually pretty decent because it negates in the battle phase, which means you can negate evenly match. So it's like, think of it as like a negate to evenly match. Its main purpose. Yeah, so it's a pretty cool combo deck. We're gonna go into some matches so you guys can see how it's how it plays. But first, I'm gonna do a quick little combo guide so you guys see exactly how the deck works, because honestly looking at this it might be a little overwhelming, being like, how the hell does this deck play? But if you're a fan of the Karakuri archetype, it could be pretty good. We're going to start playing our ranked games at Plat 5 because I haven't been playing ranked this season, mainly because when I have been recording videos I've been playing the Duelist Cup. So we are going to be playing Plat 5, and we'll see what we climb, and then obviously we'll have a recap. So let's get into the combo guide. Here we go. Hello, we're here with the combo. We're playing against Dragon Army. Honestly, this is pretty good opening hand. We're going to lead off with Gear Frame. Typically with Gear Frame, you are going to be wanting to grab Machina Fortress, but since we have it in our hand, I'm just going to grab Citadel. And now we can activate the Machina Fortress from our hand, discarding Citadel. Boom. Honestly, we could activate this card's effect too. Like, none of this really matters. First thing you want to go, pretend we didn't have the Super Express Bullet Train on the field, because normally just it's a one of in a 60 card deck. But we would go into Machina Fortress and Gear Frame, right? And then Ancient Gear Ballista's effect would activate, which adds Ancient Gear Box. Ancient Gear Box's effect activates, which will grab Infinity Track Tunneler. So then from here, you can use Machina Fortress to send Gearbox and Tunneler to the graveyard. But for us right now, we're just going to go into Auroradon, because we already have the pieces to do so. So we're going to activate this effect. Get rid of one, get rid, and then we do classic Auroradon shit. I mean, you guys kind of see. So with it, so this is like where things we have to start explaining how we do the combo. You actually want to go into Excel Synchron most of the time. And this is going to allow you. This is going to allow you to activate its effect to send Jet Synchron to the graveyard. And then you could reduce this guy's level. And you go into your first Karakuri card, which is Shogun. Now Shogun, all the Karakuri Synchro monsters have the effect to special summon the Karakuri from the deck. You want to special summon the level 2 first, because the level 2 is going to allow you to go into Hyper Librarian. Now we're going to activate our Jet Synchron. We're going to discard our Jizuku. And honestly, you could discard anything there at that point. You either discard that or you discard Tunneler. But I just did that because I thought that was fine. We're going to go into our first Burrito. So here comes Burrito. Burrito's awesome. He's going to activate his effect because he's a Chad. So we're going to draw our card every time we Synchro Summon. And we get to special summon a level 1 tuner from the deck. For the first level 1 tuner, we're going to activate our Fortress, Machine Fortress. And with this level 1 tuner, we're going to go into another Burrito. Now this is really nice. So we're gonna draw. We're gonna draw a card here, and then we could actually activate this Gamma. You don't have to do this, but I do this because if you want to draw extra cards, because the more hand traps and stuff you go into, the more interruption you have. So we're gonna special summon another level 1 from the deck. We draw our card, and now both our burritos activate, which allow us to draw 1 card each. So you're just drawing another 2 cards. Pot of Greed. Boom. Kind of unfortunate, actually, drawing this. We are going to activate... we're going to go into Shogun. We're going to play the first Shogun in defense. You just have to play one of these Shoguns in defense. You don't actually have to play them both in defense. Just one of them. Just because when you... I'll explain afterwards. You'll see. Draw. Okay, perfect. This actually works out perfectly. Because you see how we drew this card? This card actually fucks up our combo. But since we drew it, I actually drew that card, which allows me... Now I can shuffle it back into my deck, which is actually what I'm going to do now. Otherwise, it does make it a little awkward. You're just shuffling cards back in. Alright. So we actually fixed our shit. So now we can go into another Super Shogun. Again, the Super Shogun is going to get another card. You know what the nice thing about Hyper Librarian is? It's pretty much like a Maxi. It's like you just played a Maxi on your turn. That works when you extend the board. So now we're going to activate this. We're going to send Rune Force to the graveyard. Special summon this. Now, you could go into... So, if for some reason you can't go into... Like, you couldn't... Like, let's say you got Wicked Unlucky, you drew all spells, and you couldn't special summon Machina Fortress. You could just go into Borrowload Savage. But we didn't get unlucky, so we're going to go into our Baron de Fleur. Okay, draw another card. Drew Therion, so now we have 2 options. We could lead off with our pop. Like we could either set up Machine Citadel or you set up Therion Negate. It's really up to you. I think they're both good. Or you can set up Therion Negate and just forget about the Rune Force. So let's just do that. We'll just grab any card here. It doesn't really matter. So we set up Therion. And the way you set up Machine Citadel is you would actually activate your card again. And then you'd activate Baron de Fleur to pop the Machina Fortress. And Machina Fortress would grab Citadel. And you just play Citadel. Boom, not too difficult. Then you set all your... Pretty much, we set our Call by the Graves, and we have Maxi for our opponent's turn. And if for some reason we didn't get Machina Rune Force or something else messed up, we could also Foolish Burial. Here's actually a kind of a cool thing that you could do. Foolish Burial. I don't even know if this is going to work. I think it's going to work. And then we end the turn. And see how Super Express... So the thing that's really cool about Super Express Bullet Train too is if you have it attached to Regulus, every time it goes to the graveyard, because the Regulus is like negate effect, right? At the end of the turn, it's going to activate. Then you can recycle a machine card, which you can just grab Regulus again. So you can almost recycle a Regulus every turn. So now we're playing against a Dragon Army. I mean, he's kind of like boned. This is just how you would interact with him. He T-sets, but pretend he just was trying to play. Let's say he played 2 cards. Boom, the first thing you would get rid of once he has 2 cards on the field, you get to activate your Shoguns. And then boom, we get rid of both his cards on his field. And boom. And we still have Maxi, we still have Baron, we still have the pops from Citadel, which Citadel is insane, like that card's just nuts. And we still have 2 Omni Gates, so it's like, it's kind of crazy, kind of nuts. So I hope this helped. This is like the basic combo guide. Like I said, it's just 2 cards. Technically, it's a 1-card combo, or almost a 1-card combo, if you top deck Gear Frame, or you have Metal Crunch in your hand, because you just play that card, and then you grab the Machine Fortress. You grab this card from your deck, Machina Fortress, because once you have that, you can just fully combo. But obviously your opponent's going to have interruption and stuff. If they have no interruption, you just build this board every time. It's pretty easy. But let's get into some actual games. You can see how the deck performs in real games. Hello, this is game number 1, and our hand is actually looking pretty juice. We start with Grass to bait out Ash, because we have full combo anyway with Metal Crunchers. So I'm going to speed up some of these games because we have seven matches to show today, and that's kind of a lot. But any significant points we'll be showing. As you can see, the reason why I revealed these is just because I on the grass I milled that. So Ancient Gearbox is gonna grab our Tunneler. Tunneler's gonna go to the graveyard. Here comes this. We're pretty much going off. We're gonna be popping off like I showed you guys in the combo guide. Here comes the O-Lion. O-Lion's gonna go. So the reason why we went into Steel Shogun, if you guys might be a little confused, because they're like, I thought you're going to the other card. We have our Jet Synchron in the graveyard. We have no way of milling it back. So if we milled our trap, we would. But since we didn't, Tunneler only can mill back Earth Machines. So we just skip the Accel and we just go into Shogun. And then boom, we still go into TG Hyper Librarian. We're going to activate this to see if we can hit, because we need a hit, honestly. So we got lucky. Because if we did not hit off there, our board kind of just stalls, right? We just go into our 9. Like, it doesn't stall. We can still extend, but we really had to search for, like, something to attribute to Fortress. So it doesn't. The reason why I say it doesn't end is because technically I could go into the 9 and then into a 10 to draw an additional 2 cards. Here we just draw another 2 cards off the effect. Here comes Biraboo. Then that's gonna special summon another Biraboo. This deck is I like this deck a lot. Like, I'm a big fan of this deck. So we go into Baron, draw another card. Then we're gonna pop Machine Fortress to Machine Citadel. And then we go Rune Force. So our board is pretty much, and we get a Kaiju back. Our board is pretty much two banishes, Omni Negate, in battle negate, and a board pop. Like, pops everything. And we have Call by Ash, Maxi. We have all the hand traps. So here, I'm gonna tell you right now, I was watching. I was watching actually one of the series of Yu-Gi-Oh, the one with Yuma, where he loses every match, and I think some of that energy was getting channeled into me, because for some reason I max C, which I did mean to max C, but not right there, and then I negate my own max C for some, like, I guess it's extended BM at this point, right? He plays 2 cards here, and then I'm gonna activate Karakuri. I'm gonna change it to attack. I'm going to use Karakuri, banish, and then I'm going to banish their Meryl. So everything goes away. They have 2 cards left. I still have Pop, and I still have in battle negate in case he had evenly. So, yeah, it was a pretty easy game anyway. We didn't even need that max C. Hello, we're here at game number 2 against Reedy Petey. ReATP. He's playing Performer Pal. I just imperm here. We could have technically wait for the card he gets for Astrograph, or how he gets Astrograph, but I Perform Pal. I know this card is like a really good search for him, so I just did that. He goes to Time Star, adds that, goes into Electromite. Like, I could have negated Electromite technically, saved it. I just did. It was like, I was kind of fine with negating that card. These decks usually, like, the only negate they really put up is Apollousa, so I don't think it's with my hand. I feel like it's not that big of a deal. So he goes into a 2-star Apollousa. I don't know why he was so afraid of, like, just using these cards as, like, material. I would rather have just gone to a 4-star Apollosa, but... To each stone, I activate Small World. This lets me get Metal Cruncher. Then I activate Grass is Greener. And then Mecha O-Lion activates, which actually is a misplay on my part. I mean, it's not really a misplay. Because I'm just, like I said, I'm trying to get him to use Apollosa so I can normal summon this card. So, he does use it. I triple tactics him. And you gotta remember, with the grass, I also hit the Fortress. So now I'm just gonna use this for Fortress. Boom, boom, boom. We negate this. Keep ourselves alive. Here comes Fortress. There goes Ballista. He has no more ways of interrupting us. So, we actually, since we use Tunneler, we don't have Tunneler anymore. Our only other way of comboing off was to grab Magical Hound, which can't actually combo because he has all these spells and traps back there. So, this allows us to go into Auroradon. But remember, we're not trying to set up negates at this point. We took his cards. We're trying to actually just kill him, right? And he just passes. He just concedes anyway. But, like, I'm just going for a kill, which this deck can do very easily because we have all these cards that have huge attack powers. So, we're not trying to set up, like, 30 negate, like, our 2 negate board or whatever. We're trying to just go into a few Karakuris, banish his field, and then attack him directly. Hello, we're here with game number 3, and again, we are going second. I've gone second so much. So when I was streaming, I felt like I was going second like 80% of the games. Maxi fine. He's playing tier limit. We go into Ancient Gear Ballista. He activates Havness. I activate Maxi. Draw. He goes into Ricalios. So, funny enough, Ancient Gear Ballista, it doesn't negate the Ricalios, but like it can make its attack go to 0. So, I'm not going to kill him this turn, so I kind of fucked this one up. This was bad. Because this isn't negated, so I really should just attack this first and then attack this. But this is protected by this, because this cannot be destroyed by battle. But now we get to do our full Auroradon combo. Like, if he had a Soliac for some reason, for a fact he would have activated before that. But he would actually be able to stop me right now. But he would have just activated it on my Ancient Gear card. Alright, so now we get to full combo him. And we have something very specific to look for right now. Right now we're looking for monsters I can special summon. I didn't draw any. So we have to kind of do these extended plays. So now I draw Small World, so I'm able to pick one of my cards in my hand to actually look for a level 9. So I can extend the board. Here comes Burrito. I'm going to have to keep Burrito on the board, so I'm going to search a little deeper in my deck to see if I can find another level 9 or 10. Because remember, we're going second, and we got our combo kind of messed up in the beginning, so now we're trying to like just make a board so he can't beat us. So we're going to start banishing some of his cards, and we draw. We got a Foolish Burial, which lets us have a Rune Force. Since we don't find anything, we go into Borderlord Savage with Rune Force, and we have Imperm. So now we Imperm the lane, and then we shift this to defense, banish a back row, which is Heartbeat. Shift this back to attack, which banishes the other back row. It's another Heartbeat. I don't know why he's running 2 Heartbeats. Don't question it. We just accept what he's doing. But GG. Hello, we're here with game number 4. We open Grass is Greener, and our hand's looking a little odd. We're gonna need some help. We get Max Seed though, so we're just not even gonna bother playing into it. I play O-Lion, and my beautiful Express Train does grab me my gear frame. So this thing's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna Maxi him back. He's playing Nimble Beaver, but I have Overdrive in hand. So if you guys don't know, Overdrive is going to allow me to grab Citadel, and they need level 2s to actually do anything, right? So I'm going to activate Citadel's effect, which is going to blow up his entire board. And now he's not going to be able to play anything. He just has to end his turn. Which is beautiful for me, because I just normal summon gear. And he plays Imperm, because he's a rat. Understandably. But guess what? I have Fortress, so nothing ever mattered. This was a minor misplay. It's actually a decent misplay because I didn't realize that both my gearboxes in the graveyard. I checked earlier and I thought I only seen one because I knew there was only one O-line in the graveyard. So yeah, that was a pretty decent misplay because now I don't get to draw 2 off my cards. But I am looking to kill him though. I'm not looking to set up a board. So we go into Excel Synchron. Like this beginning play that we do here is going to allow us to do at least 6,000 right here. So he's probably fucked. So he just concedes. Let's go to the next one. Hello, this is game number 5 and I get to go first. Woohoo! I play Sky Striker Mecha Hornet. So our hand is actually completely dead. This is a dead hand. But we do have Maxi, we have Imperm, and we have Overdrive. So I'm just grabbing the Hornet drones to set up next turn. Hopefully if I draw anything. Here comes Maxi. He call buys the Maxi. I'm like, okay, well I don't have to deal with that anymore. Not the end of the world. And then he plays Moye. I Imperm the Moye because I know for a fact he's going to go Long Yawn. And when he Long Yawns, we're going to blow everything up. We're going to battle Butler his board. So he goes Long Yawn. I pop the Kagori. And then, boom, here goes the Dynamite. Bye-bye. Broken range indeed. Top deck Gear Frame. We get Impermed again. What a surprise. Here, I actually, like, it didn't matter if I activated Hornet Drones. I know it looks like, oh, bro, you didn't activate Hornet Drone. You could have gone to Ballista. But I don't have no any payoff cards to go into Ballista. So if I go into Ballista, it actually doesn't do anything. So, if I top deck any Earth Machine off the top of my deck, I could do full combo. And I top deck another Gear Frame, which obviously is the best card I could top deck. Here goes Ballista. He Imperms my Ballista, which is fine. I drone. I'm surprised he didn't Imperm the Gear Frame, but maybe because he knew I was going to go into something. Like, think about like what happened. He called by the Grammy and then double Imperm. Kind of rude. And then they concede. They always concede on the Auroradon. Always happens. Kind of annoying. Hello, we're here with game number 6, and we're playing against CW Phoenix. And this person's playing goatee. I played against a decent amount of goatee yesterday. I will say, like, if my opponent just sets up the banishes, I kind of fucked. And also, my hand's horrible. I got 2 Garnets in my hand. The only good thing is the Gear Frame, which is, this technically is full combo. I grab Regulus too for negate, so technically my hand's actually pretty decent. But then he defissures, which means my hand is not decent. My hand's actually ass. Right? But the thing about these goatee players is when they do anything, they can't just leave a card on the board and just leave it there. They have to do something with it. So like, he goes into Paces. He uses both of them to go into Baron de Fleur. Because, like I said, he physically can't, like, fathom, like, just leaving his fucking Paces there. He's like, nah, I have to use it to go into Baron. I just have to. Baron's actually way weaker than him just leaving it there for goatee. Like, it's just way weaker against my deck. I can play through one negate. I can't play through, like, multiple, like, banishes. So, first things first, I'm going to bring back this. I go into my own Baron de Fleur. And then I go into my Regulus. So now I win the negate board. So I pop his Baron. He negates me. I negate him. He goes into goatee chain. He can't actually do anything. Like I said, if this guy was smart, he would have just left his goatee cards on the field. Now he's going to get Auroradon. Which is really unfortunate for him. I was really rooting for him. So again, I go into Burrito like this because I am looking to OTK. I know it looks bizarre, but I'm just looking to kill my opponent. Here we go. And he is dead. Because banish, both the cards go bye-bye, and we got 9,000. So, goodbye. Hello, we're here with the final game, game number 7. I can't believe we're here. We play Gear Fan, we get impermed. What a surprise. No one would have ever seen that coming. I didn't see that coming. We're going to play this Machine Overdrive, though. Which has been, obviously, being pretty sweet. People do not expect it whatsoever. So, they don't really play around it at all. He ends up going Lifeless Layfish. So this is, I'm going to explain my thought process. He uses this to grab the 2200. He needs to banish 2 fish for that to activate. So the problem is, I know for a fact he's going to have imperm. There's no way, I've played goatee where, like, there's no way these are, not one of them is imperm. They don't play that much back row. So I activate Overdrive now, because if I get rid of this, he's not going to be able to go into his 6. Because he only has 1 fish in the graveyard with Layfish. So, boom, boom. Can't actually do anything, so he gets a level 2 out. Activate 1 for 1. Send Rune Force to the graveyard. He activates Goatee Chain, which again banishes the card. So, now I can activate Magical Hound to bounce that. We go into a free Ballista. And we get impermed. That ain't cool. That ain't cool, Chief. But guess what? We haven't used our normal summon, so we are able to go into Auroradon. Get cucked. And he goes for the call by. And guess what? We use Overdrive to dodge the call by. Shuffle, shuffle. So we get the tokens. Activate. Bam. There goes Burrito. Bob's your uncle. We go into Synchron. That sends Jet Synchron to the graveyard. We go into Buraburu. Summon. Kablooey. This card's gonna fucking do that. Baron de Fleur. I go into combat first because I wanted to just style on him before I do this because I know he'll activate this. And then Rune Force, since we're in combat, I can negate it, deal 4k, and then kill him with that 46. So, pretty cool. Pretty neat. Let's get to the recap and see how the deck actually did, so you guys can get a good feel for it. Hello, welcome to the recap. If you like this type of content, please hit that subscribe button so I can be one step closer to becoming the new Mr. Beast. And also, hit the Discord link is down below. Join it. We host weekly tournaments. Pretty sweet. This week is going to be pretty awesome, so check out the rules there. How the deck performed. The deck performed moderately well. We climbed from Plat 5 to Plat 1, but this is like the end of the season, so it's probably the easiest to climb, I would say. That all being said, we still had a pretty good win ratio. Going second, obviously, is a challenge, but the deck actually performs better going second than I actually initially thought, because we do have outs, the Floodgates of Magical Hound, which is searchable through Ancient Gear Ballista. So that's kind of interesting. We also have Therion King Regulus, which is a very good card for initially starting off our turn, so we can actually like start negating things. If I had to change anything, the one thing I would change is I would make Therion King Regulus put that card to 3. And if you do that, you'd probably have to cut on something else. Obviously, you'd have to cut on something else. Maybe you cut back on like something like an Imperm or something like that. Or you can even cut back on like something like Ninja, Nanashuk. But Nanashuk is pretty good for extending too, so it's kind of hard to say. But yeah, the deck performed a lot better than I expected. Sky Striker package was actually like low-key really insane. And the only reason I'm saying that is because if you have Sky Striker engaged in your hand, dude, people don't even think about it. They always Ash it. It's like such a good bait for Ash. So you activate engage, they Ash it, and then you just do your full combo. Or and hope they don't have Imperm or something. And also for going second, I mean, this deck has a lot of like big beaters in the deck. So like you just smack over your opponent. Like Rune Force is a house. It's like having a Blue Eyes Ultimate on the field on steroids because of the negate. And I feel like there's a lot of decent ways of going into Auroradon. So even if you don't end up getting your best card out of the deck, which is Fortress, as long as you can eventually reach into Auroradon, you can actually play through a lot and you can combo off decently. So, and Auroradon will let you OTK pretty easily as well. So that's pretty neat. On a power scale of 1 to 10, what would I rate this as? I'd probably put this at like a 7 or a 7.5. I think it's actually a fairly strong combo deck. Like if you actually build a board, let's say you build your best board like I showed you guys, I don't think you're losing. The only way you're losing is if they Dark Ruler you, then like Dark Ruler into Evenly, which is like, okay, if they got that, they beat most boards anyway, right? Like there's not many boards you're going to like win, like not many boards you're going to lose if you open Dark Ruler Evenly. And I like the fact that the deck draws so much because it gives us like, let's say if they do break your board, you end up having like a bunch of cards in your hand at least to like combat your opponent for the following turn. I like the fact that there's a lot of cool combos in the deck. Like the first cool combo I would say is Regulus with Super Express Bullet Train. So if you play Regulus and attach Super Express Bullet Train to it, and then you tribute Regulus, let's say you negate your opponent's card, send Regulus to the graveyard, Express Bullet Train goes to the graveyard. At the end of the turn, Express Bullet Train's secondary effect's going to activate, and you could grab Regulus and add it back to your hand and then do it all. It's like a permanent chain loop with it, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I think this deck is a lot of fun. If you have the cards already, I definitely recommend building it. I had to craft both these Karakuris. I had to craft 2 Machine Fortresses. And I think that was it. I had to craft those 2, these. Yeah, I think that's all I had to craft. But I do not regret crafting the 4 cards at all. Like, I enjoy this deck a lot. I definitely see myself using this more in the future too. It's a really interesting and fun deck. So, Small World also, like, this deck is crazy for Small World. Like, Small World is insane in this deck, unless you can just grab anything you want, because you have 6 good targets for it. Alright, so if I banish Max City, so if I banish, like, since it's an Earth Insect, but it's also a level 2, this allows me to just banish O-Lion. O-Lion is a wind, a level 2, and it's a machine, which machine will let me grab anything out of the deck. And, like, there's almost like a line for every single card, which is pretty sweet in my opinion. Mainly because you have different cards like Jizuku, which is a light, which is obviously different than the other machines. Most of them are Earth. So it's just, there's a lot of ways of getting to the cards you want, which I really like with the Small World. But yeah, this deck's a lot of fun. On a tier scaling, obviously it's a rogue tier deck. You're not going to really see this at all on the ladder unless you played against me. Or you played against the guy originally from the Master Duel Meta website. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know what you want to see next for me to play. All right, goodbye.